on the other hand.
Yeah. Go this way. Normal. Actually, which way you want? Okay. Go normal.
Sorry, guys.
Also, normal. I like when, yeah.
Hello out there, we're on the air. It's the morning draw on Friday at the 2022 MoPac Mixed Team Playdowns, coming to you from the Southern California Curling Center, just south of downtown LA. We just finished the first end of play, and it looks like Team McDonald out of the Coyotes Curling Club put up a 5 spot to jump ahead early. So this is your announcer Ryan. I'll be by your side with the call today and through the weekend. Happy to be here. Hope you are too. So the first stone coming from Team McDonald. That was from as appears to be the lead Aussie Altus, and it goes just a tad behind the tee line. Now we're going to see the first rock of the second end coming from Team Howells lead. That would be Ahmed Busal, or Isal. This one also looks to be maybe going a little deep. Actually, it might be going out of play. And indeed it does. So Team Howells curls out of the Hollywood Curling Club. So this is home ice for them. Hollywood is based out of the Southern California Curling Center. Sorry, I was going to say McDonald, but it is Team McDonald. I apologize. They're curling from a whole bunch of clubs. They are a mixed parts type of club, as I would say. The skip, I'm pretty sure, is out of Coyotes Curling Club from Arizona. But they're also joined by players from Wine Country, Silicon Valley, and the Capital Curling Club. So this is the first game of the tournament. Team Howells, while Team McDonald played yesterday. It was a pretty hard-fought game, but they on the losing side of that against Team... I'll have to look it up. I apologize. So Aussie on his bio says that he was at the 2016 Western USA Under-21 Challenge Round as a participant. He's done, looks like a decent amount of juniors, including taking part in the Nationals, U18 Nationals, in 2018-2019. And it looks like he put up Rock in the House. So this is now the second for McDonald. Ella Fleming. Looks like they want to go into the top of the house on the left side. It's not going to quite curl up as much as they had wanted. That is a guard nonetheless. So there's currently only 3 players on Team Howells. We had a late scratch, and so they're playing as 3. So when a 4-person team goes down to 3, the first and second players throw 3 stones apiece, while the skipper captain throws the final 2. So 3 plus 3 plus 2 equals 8. It's mathematical. And that was a really nice, gentle weight hit and roll. And so now it's pretty close between the 2 teams on who is shot. We'll do a closer look in a moment. As McDonald lines up her next shot. It might be trying to go for the double. That's what she's looking at. And indeed, that is what they have lined up for Ms. Fleming. She was the winner of 2 U14 championships for the Dakota Territory. The swoopers are going, now they're off. Got 1. Oh, and it crashed on the yellow. Actually, it's good for them. No, it's not good for them. I have to remember which team is which color. So a slight miss for Team McDonald. And now it opens up an opportunity for Team Howells. And this, I believe, will be Ahmed's last. Ahmed's last. Or actually, I think it might be Lexus's first. Or second. Just a little heavy, unfortunately. So this is, I believe, the first stone coming from McDonald's third. See, they wanted to try the takeout again. This one's just a little wide. And actually wrecks on theirs. So this is unfortunately a couple of slight misses for McDonald's. It opens up the house for Howells. And that was the third Brian Feldman Jr.'s shot. So Howell looks like to be, I think, lining up a draw or maybe a hit and roll. He's a little high up for a draw in the house. So, Lexus Chi, the vice now for the team, is a new junior curler. and has been playing for about a year. Leslie Chi, I apologize. We had a bit of a goof on our bios. And we had a note in our YouTube chat. I will be doing updates on the other sheet and play. So we have 6 teams in the tournament currently. But with you know, we had some withdrawals and some other situations come up because of COVID. So there's only going to be there's going to be 2 sheets in play for any given game. So I will be doing updates on the games. And then also, if when we have volunteers, we should be trying to update bondspieler.com for the line scores. So this was a shot for McDonald, again trying to do the takeout, and again a little wide. So now Howells has kind of turned the end around. They're sitting 2, and he wants to put up a guard, trying to protect the situation, I think. So here comes Chi's next shot. I think they might be going for a little bit of a gentle tap back. It's going to tap it, I think, behind the cover of the yellow guard and sit behind the button. So it might provide a little bit of an out for Team McDonald because it creates a backstop for Skip Andy McDonald to draw to, and it looks like that's kind of what they're lining up. Or they might be doing a hit and roll. Actually, I think I don't think they're doing the draw. I think they are doing the hit and roll. However, depending on how the ice curls, they might have a plan B to hit the red in the back behind the button. So this is the first of 2 skip stones for Skip Andy McDonald. She competed at the Youth Olympic Trials and was also placed 4th at the U21 Junior Nationals in 2017-2021. So hit was dialed up. A little bit wide, but they got one, jammed on the red in the back, kicked that red in the back out. So Red is still pretty much in control of the house, but they did get rid of one of the red counters. So this might be a situation where McDonald needs to work a little hard to prevent giving up a multiple point score against Team Howells. And Team Howells is skipped by Garnett Howells. He began curling in Edinburgh, Scotland, in the late 1980s. So this is a chance to really put up the pressure on Team McDonald. Supers are going really hard. Looks like they're going to make a little contact on their red on the top left of the 8-foot, 12-foot area. So McDonald's not taking a lot of time on the shot. I think they're looking at what I was looking at, where they might want to try and double out those 2 reds on the upper left side. And if they get rid of those two. They're conceding the deuce to Team Howells, but I would not necessarily think it's a bad outcome, especially looking at the score and the fact that it's really early in this game. Line looks pretty good. Got one. Did it out. Unfortunately, it stuck around. So now there's the chance for 3 for Howells. So some more about Mr. Howells. He played junior curling in Scotland for 3.5 years. Ultimately as a school skip for George Carrios, and made the semis of the junior nationals, as well as winning a few fields in Scotland in the 1990s, which was a rocking era in more ways than one. So here's his chance for 3. That would definitely get him solidly back in this game. Weight looks pretty good, just needs to touch paint. And indeed it does. So that is a score of 3 for Team Howells to get back into this game and make it a 5-3 game in favor of Team McDonald. We're going to take a quick 1-minute break, and we'll be right back as the 2022 MoPac Mixed Team Playdowns continues here at the Southern California Curling Center. So, as I mentioned, there's only 2 sheets in play. Team Maxey is on a bye, as well as Team Siggins. On sheet 6, it's Team Mendoza of Hollywood taking on Team Stefani. I don't think they're related to Gwen, but maybe. Stefani curls primarily out of the Wine Country Club. They're on sheet 6, and there's some glare from where I'm seated. They're through 2. It is Team Mendoza right now with a opening deuce with the hammer, and then a steal at 2. A steal at 2 in the second, so it's 4-0. Mendoza for Stefani. Back on our feature sheet. We're underway in the 3rd end. So this in this format, it's an 8-end game. So we get 10 ends of curling excitement into 8. So you get more bang for your buck. Here comes Ozzy's first shot. Their coach is Patrick McDonald. Curls primarily out of the Coyotes, and he is an 8-time national wheelchair champion. He's been to 6 World Championships and 2 Paralympics. And it looks like Ozzy has drawn into the house on the right wing. This is Usal's next up. He curled for 4 years in Houston and 7 years in Turkey. His team won 2 silver and 1 bronze medal in the Turkish League. And he's also played in the European Mixed Championship in 2013. And his draw around the center guard goes a little deep. So the teams here are competing for a spot in the U.S. Mixed Nationals. I'm not quite sure when and where that's going to be this year. However, this does possibly World Championship if they prevail at Nationals. But it all starts here at the regional level, and we're happy that you're here. This is Altus's next second shot. Listen, they want to try and draw around the center guard. And I think maybe just kind of lock it right onto the red that's behind the tee line. And it's going to be mission accomplished for the most part. So for this next shot, it looks like Howells wants another draw, which is safe to say. It looks like they're definitely, the play is being drawn to the center very early in this end. And again, that taps the yellow back. That yellow freezes or welds onto the red in the back. So there's a lot of play. There's a lot of play towards the back of the house early in this end. So some more information about the second Ella Fleming. She was a 3-time U18 regional champion as well as attending the U21 Nationals. She was also a 2-time high school champion for Dakota Territory. And her next shot is, again, it's going to be a draw around that center guard, that mid-center guard. So play is definitely more into a draw game in this end. And we got ourselves a bit of a parade going with a line of rocks right down the middle. And it looks like Howells wants another draw. And the sweepers are just kind of ushering it down, like an honor guard, I guess, since we're on this parade metaphor.
That's okay.
Looks like it's just a little bit wide, so it's creating a little bit of a pocket, and it looks like McDonald wants to now go towards the top of the house, which makes sense because there's backing to kind of keep their stones in front of the house towards the center. So we mentioned that this could lead to a world championship. So because of that, we are using national competitive rules as we can. That includes the so effective, not very effective, orange boom pad fabric. It's known for not being super effective. And that's just one way to help ensure that everyone's on the same playing field, as it were, when it comes to sweeping. There's also time clocks in play. And the times are just a little bit different because it is an 8-end game. So Howells, it looks like, wanted to draw around on the left side as opposed to the right side. It looks like this is going to be a little heavy. It's going to go past the tee line. And just I'll put up another bit of backing. And the situation seems to be favoring Team McDonald. And it looks like she wants to kind of follow Howells down, which makes sense. But again, to be above the tee line, to be in the front half of the house. And this is the first shot for Brian Feldman Jr. He was a U18 Nationals 2019 participant. He was also at the Barrel 2019 as a winner. The Barrel is the Bonspiel hosted by One Country Curling Club just outside of Sacramento. And his shot looks to have gone a little heavy, but again, there was the backing, as I was mentioning. So with the backing, he was able to run onto one of the reds and stick around. So this is Leslie's next shot. This one looks like it's curling a little bit too much. It crashes onto the center guard, and so now it just kind of opens up the front of the front area above the house, which for now seems to be an advantage towards McDonald. So the weight on this shot looks to be maybe a smidge lighter than the last time, but they definitely want it to be a little lighter so that it's in front of the house, and it is. So it looks like a good shot for Mr. Feldman. So one thing to keep in mind with the 8-end games is that we will be taking a 5-minute break after the 4th end. So that's 5 and 4. Or 5 after 4. Okay. This is my 3rd regional playout I've been at, and I have not seen people like bring like the little snack boxes that sometimes curlers do. Which would be fun. I wish they did. So now this is Howells' first shot. I think that he's going to want to draw into the pile in the center. Hopefully outcount the yellows for McDonald. But at least kind of cut down that scoring area. Sweepers are ushering it down. This one looks to be just maybe a touch on the heavy side. And it's not necessarily curling up as much as they had wanted. So Team McDonald, I think, definitely has a bit of an advantage at this point. Although I think they want to make a play on the Reds in the back, and I don't exactly know why. Because right now, Team McDonald has at least 1, maybe 2, and I would maybe look to just make sure that they get the 2 out of this. But here we go. This is the first shot coming from skip Andy McDonald. Yeah, yellow has 2 right now. So it looks like it's over curling. It's going to draw to the right side, just right of the center line. And so now it looks like Howells has that draw again. And one of the adages or advice that we follow as curlers is that if you have a second chance to make the same shot, you have a much better chance of making the shot. So let's see. It looks like they're lined up to do the same type of shot as the first one, a little less ice. And here we go. Supers are going hard. He needs to get around that guard. Now he calls the supers off. Ooh, it's off. It's around both of the rocks in front. And it hits on the left side of the yellow that was in the back of the button. And so it now leaves open a draw for McDonald. It's a very tight window for McDonald to get that third possible point. But the shot is there. The ice is curling pretty nicely, so that's, I think, something to watch for. Here we go with Andy McDonald's last shot, the hammer throw in the third end. Supers are on it early. Looks like it's a little tight. Supers are still going hard. They want to make sure it gets around that top yellow. It does squeak by. It taps the red back. What a great shot by Andy McDonald. And that looks to be another score of 3. But I'll wait to make sure they put on the scoreboard before I make it official. As we head into the fourth end here at the 2022 MoPac Mixed Playdowns. Live streaming of this and other regional competitions is powered by the 18 clubs and 1,500 members of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. Our mission serves to grow curling and foster competition in Arizona, California, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, and Utah. Visit mopacca.org today to find a curling club near you or for help starting a club in your community. And this is a great time to get involved in curling. We are just about 2 weeks away from the start of the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics in China, and so the Team USA will have a full curling contingent with men's, women's, and mixed doubles teams. So it's going to be very exciting, and all of the games are going to be broadcast. Some of them, I would think most of the USA games are going to be on actual broadcast television in terms of USA Network or CNBC. However, NBCOlympics.com and Peacock TV should have all of the games from every curling sheet throughout the entire Olympics, which is great. So if you love curling or want to get involved and learn more about the sport, this is a chance to get exposed to hundreds of hours of curling over the next 3 weeks once the games start in early February. And so I also mentioned mixed doubles. Mixed doubles is a 2-person format. And I say mixed doubles, and people might think that mixed is more like mixed doubles, but it's actually closer to the 4-person game. The mixed team format is a 4-person format, where there's each team throws 8 rocks. And I think the biggest variation is that the team members alternate between genders. They cannot be consecutively. So it's either man, woman, or woman, man. Which is not the Bob Marley song. That's No Woman, No Cry. And we actually need women. So it is kind of fascinating to see how the teams are set up. A lot of the teams do the woman, man, so that the male is throwing the last rocks. In this case, for Team McDonald, it is a man, woman, so Andy McDonald throws the skip stones. And that was a nice takeout for Team McDonald. This is the next rock coming from Max. And this rock is going to be a guard. It needs to be get over the hot line. It looks like it just made it. Although Skip Howells is going out just to make sure. Let's see what's going on with the other sheets. So on the other sheet, it is Team Mendoza from one country taking on Stefani. And it looks like Team Stefani got started with 2 on in the third, so now it is a score of 4-2. And I know some people are talking about in the chat how the sound sometimes cuts out. And that's because I'm wearing a wireless microphone that relies on a point of view connection. So sometimes if I turn my body away, it breaks that line of sight connection. I apologize. I'm doing my best to avoid it from happening. Back on our feature sheets, it looks like Team Howells is going to draw around that high, close to center guard. Looks like it curled, over curled a little bit, so it is a little exposed. I'd say about 2/5 of a rock, but it looks like this is coming from Ella Fleming. So it draws to the left side and it creates a pretty obvious double that Howells takes no time to line up for USL. Looks to be a little wide. It's going to clip one of the yellows and gets it out, but the other yellow sticks around. So it does improve the situation. So from Donald, it looks like I think they dialed up a draw. And this is for Brian Feldman Jr. We're more than halfway through this end already. We're moving pretty quick. And it turns into a guard, but it doesn't guard a lot right now, unfortunately. That yellow in the house is about 4/5 open. And so I think Howells wants to kind of do a heavy draw and kind of tap that yellow back out of play. So the weight looks pretty good. Maybe just a smidge light.
Great shot.
But it looks pretty good. It taps the yellow back, and now red is hitting shot. But yellow is definitely still in this. And now I think basically McDonald wants to respond in kind with a heavy tap of her own, maybe a little bit more, a little hit and roll perhaps. This one looks to be a bit wide. McDonald's also indicates, and it's probably going to sail through. Well, it's slowing a little bit, so I might stick around. Howells definitely does not want it to stick around. And we'll see in a second what the situation is. So Howells is sitting 1, and I think he just wants to make sure that McDonald can't make a play on that red that's near the center of the house. And so this is Leslie Cheese. Next shot, I think this is her last. So yes, that McDonald shot did hang around. So this did not necessarily curl up a lot, but it's going to tap that red back towards the center of the button. And it puts it almost right on top of that yellow. So that red is not going to go anywhere. But McDonald could just basically kind of... I think they're going to do a hit. And I think it's going to basically unlock the red by tapping the red onto the yellow. And so then there's not going to be any backing for that red. And so it's going to kind of be a battle for the button with these last 2 stones and from each team. And I think the chances of Howells getting a single are fairly high, but there might be a chance for more. And this is Andy McDonald's first shot. So the weight's not going to be a heavy hit. It looks to be almost close to the backline weight. It's not curling up a lot. So it taps the red just gently and just almost taps the red back onto the yellow, but the yellow does not really go anywhere. So now Howells can put another red towards above their own red and have a chance to sit 2. And 2 of those reds are not going to go anywhere. And that is the shot that Garnett Howells has dialed up. So as I mentioned earlier, he started curling in Scotland in the 80s, the late 80s. His bio says that he took breaks of almost 20 years and 7 years being too far away from ice, noting that there was a 3-year stint curling out of Philadelphia. He is now happily back on the ice, having resumed play on dedicated ice here in Los Angeles, trying to get flexible again. And that is, I think, a goal of a lot of people who are engaged in curling. So the shot's underway. This one is a bit wide. Hopefully it's gonna, I was gonna say hopefully it's gonna kind of curl a little bit more, but it didn't. It hit the yellow on the outside. So now there's a bit of a situation where McDonald could get out of this jam if they're careful. This is gonna be a very tricky shot, I think. Because I think they can try and hit the top yellow onto the red and kind of squeak the red out towards the right. I think that's kind of what they're looking at. And if they do so successfully, they'll might be sitting two. The tricky thing is though is that they have 2 yellows right now, and the scoring area is very reduced. If the scoring, like if they had a bad shot and got rid of those yellows by accident, the red could be scoring a lot. So I don't think they threw a lot of weight. So they're definitely going to keep some of their yellows around, which is good. So these are going really hard. Okay. So I thought they were going to throw a hit, and they just threw a pretty nice draw and to freeze on top of the red. So now Team Howells doesn't have a great shot to try and get 2 out of this, but it looks like they're going to try. And I think what they're going to do is I think they want to throw like an angle raise. They want to throw and kind of hit the red stone that's in the upper right side in the white 8-foot ring. And if they hit it just right, it's going to go left and back into the pile. And there's space in the center ring to, I think, maybe get the 2. So this is going to be a tricky shot for Garnet Howells. But here we go. It's a little wide. It needs to curl. Starting to go a little bit. I think it's going to stay out too wide. It's going to make contact. Ooh, it actually curls around the red. So it was a good effort. And I'm pretty sure that looks to be a score of 1 for Team Howells. So we are going to take a break. And we'll be back in about 5 minutes as we continue with the MoPac 2022 Mixed Team Playdowns. Roxton play, we're underway here in the fifth end at the 2022 MoPac Mixed Playdowns, coming to you from Vernon, California. It's been a pretty exciting game with Team McDonald, with the skip out of Coyotes Curling Club, going up against Team Howells from Hollywood Curling Club. The other game is Team Mendoza versus Team Stefani. And Stefani got another deuce in the fourth end. So at their fourth end break, it was a tie game, 4-4. So pretty exciting between those two teams. Those two teams out of, one's from Hollywood, the other's, Mendoza's from Hollywood, Stefani's from wine country. On our sheet, this is the next stone coming from the lead for Team McDonald. The Altus. And it looks like it's going to get, it looks like it's whips the guard, kicks the guard, and rolls to the left under the red that was put up earlier. So now Skip Howells lines up a shot for his lead. Ahmed Uwasal, or Uwasal, I apologize. And I think they just want to draw around. So that one goes in as a left guard. And this is the this is going to go toward the top of the house. Oh, I think it's still a guard. However, that is the fifth rock to the end, so the free guard zone rule is no longer applies. So Howells wants a hit, just like a Broadway producer. And I think he's gonna make some contact and get rid of that yellow. So mission accomplished. Draw around. Weight was pretty good. Sweepers are going at it. It needs to maybe curl up just a little bit more. I don't think it necessarily curl up enough. So now Howells just wants another takeout. Call it DoorDash. looks to be a little wide. So McDonald has, I think, another crack at this. I think they maybe would do a similar shot and just tap that yellow back behind cover. And this is Brian Feldman Jr.'s shot. So the weight looks pretty good. Needs to maybe curl up just a little bit more. But it looks like it's, actually may have curled up a little too much. No, but not, it's still good. It basically taps the yellow directly back. So the shot rock now provides cover for the shot that is now back behind the tee line in the 4-foot. And so I think Howells basically wants to throw another takeout and at least get rid of the top yellow. And if they get rid of 2, more is the better. Though I think the shot is wide again. The are probably going. Okay, that was pretty good. It wasn't the shot I was thinking they were going to do, but they basically kind of did an angle raise, run back, and got rid of the shot rock yellow. And now red is sitting the 1 with a yellow in the top 12. And so McDonald wants Feldman to get rid of it. So sweepers are on it to hold the line, and they get rid of the red. And so now it's yellow sitting 2. And here we are at Skips Rocks very quickly. I know some people, especially in broadcasting, think maybe the game should be shorter, but like these ends can fly by, especially if you're looking at the strategy or thinking about what the shots might be doing. This is Garnet Howells' first, and he wants to take out. Sweepers are going. See, they're going to get the shot stone and maybe get a bit of a roll. Needs to stick in the 8-foot, which it will. And it's behind cover. So it makes it hard for McDonald to get it out. I think they might be able to squeeze it out. And I think how they can get rid of the red, and this is going to be a shot, is be similar to what Team Howells did when they on the center right side and angle it back towards the red and get rid of the red, or at least put it on, or at least get it closer to the center. And this is Andy McDonald's first up. Weight looks pretty good. Sweepers are not on it. Now they're going. So it looks like it's going to hit it just on the right side. Maybe would have wanted it to curl maybe another inch, because it actually it went a little too far. And so now red is still sitting the shot stone. And so for Howells, they don't have the hammer, so they don't have the advantage of the last shot. So I think they wanted to make sure that they close the door, as it were, so McDonald can't get a multiple point score. Even trying to, it might be a steal, possibly. Here, his shot's underway. So that horn you might be hearing is not going off in the building. We are just near some train tracks. Okay, so the shot's going to wick off of the guard on the right and roll towards the center. So it definitely kind of prevents McDonald from doing that angle raise shot again.
It's just mental. I think because it's so different. Like it's very clean. You don't need to like 36.
Options. But I think they have something in mind. So they might want to try and do like an in-off double. I don't think they, I mean, they might want to draw, but they also may want to like hit the yellow, the top center yellow, and then roll towards the other yellow that's in the back of the house. Shots underway. Sweepers are just watching it. Ooh, okay, so it's kind of a heavy draw. Hits the yellow. Ah, okay. So unfortunately, they didn't work out, and it's a steal of 1 for Team Howells. But it looks like a pretty good effort and a good try. So now as we head into the top of the 6th, I say top. We're heading to the 6th end with Howells holding the hammer, and the score is 8-5 in favor of Team McDonald. If you or your business would like to become a sponsor for MoPac, our competitions, or our live streaming service, visit mopacca.org and click on the contact link on the right-hand side of the page. We have a triple header dialed up today for the MoPac Mixed Team Playdowns. Coming up at around 2:30, we have a match between Team Stefani from one country and Team Howells. We'll see them again. And then for the nightcap, which is set for 7:30, we are looking at, I believe, Stefani taking on Team Maxi. And that is coming up tonight, this afternoon, here on the MoPac YouTube channel. Tuning in today. We appreciate the feedback, letting us know, that you guys are like what we're doing, or if you have some notes, the notes about the sound, particularly, have been helpful. So that was a guard. And so this is Ozzy Altus's first. Sweepers are going. wanted to go around that guard that was placed, and it looks like they did a really good job. Good job for Ozzy. Some other notes about Ozzy. He was a Bonspiel A event winner at the Kansas City Barbecue Bonspiel in 2019. That's a Bonspiel that is known for its barbecue. If you have a chance to go, I haven't gone, but it sounds like a big event to go to. So this net shot coming from Ahmet Usal. And he also goes around the guard, but with a little bit more pace, and so it's going to tap the yellow back behind the tee line to the back of the white 8-foot ring. So it looks like a good shot for Ahmet. And so now Team McDonald wants to looks like to be giving a little bit more, a little wider ice. I think maybe try and draw to that yellow that's in the back, or maybe to the top of the house. And this is the so it's curling. I think it's going to get around the guard, but it's going to be tight. Ooh, and it ticks the guard. So it basically kind of creates two corner guards, with the McDonald guard on the right being a pretty tight guard close to the house. So for Howells, I think he wants to do a take. No, I don't think he wanted to do a takeout. I think he might want to tap that red back onto the yellow. Howell calls on the sweepers. Howells, pardon me. Sweepers are going. Now they're off. Okay, and it creates a tight guard. But now we're at the point of the end where the teams can clear their opponent's guards. And that does appear to be what McDonald wants. And we will see if Ella Fleming can execute. Supers is going pretty hard. Got one, got two. Oh, but the red jams on the yellow in the back. It does improve the situation in the house. It's now just the just red sitting the one. And it looks like Howells wants to, I think, maybe hit and roll. Maybe, USL is last, I believe. Super just kind of walking it down. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I think I think Team Howells is joined by a fourth player. I don't know if that fourth player is throwing stones. Hopefully I can get some more information and relay that to you guys once I know more. And so that Howells rock slips into the top of the house. And Team McDonald wants Ella Fleming to again execute a hit. it's going to make contact. Ooh, it hit the yellow, and then it hit the red. But it did get rid of one of the reds, and it does clear out the front of the house. So red is now sitting 1 again. But that red is pretty exposed. And so I think Howells wants to maybe take out the yellow. I would think maybe possibly splitting the house would be a good option at this point, because then it would increase the chances of getting a multiple score. So this shot, it looks like he's maybe drawing around at this point. Looks like it's going to be a little heavy. Hopefully, no, it's not going to stick around. So, unfortunately, a miss. And so now Skip McDonald and can execute another hit and have a wide open house. This is Brian Feldman Jr.'s second shot. Weight looks good. Supers are going now. You're going to see a little bit of a roll. It might stick around. It is going to stick around. So now yellow is sitting the 1. So Team Howells, I think, wants to get rid of the yellow. Supers are pounding the ice, going hard. Line looks pretty good. So it's not going to be maybe a slight hit. Just taps the yellow back slightly. So that looks like a good call for Team Howells.
You like that?
Looking at the other sheet, the other game between Team Mendoza of Hollywood and Team Stefani of Wine Country. Team Mendoza got 1 in the 5th, and so now is a 5-4 Mendoza over Stefani. So Team McDonald wanted to get rid of the red and did so. And so now it is McDonald sitting the 1 as Garnett Howells goes to take his first shot. So now we'll see if we can we'll see if Team Howells can manufacture the skipper's deuce, which is not the special at Long John Silver's. I think Howells wants maybe a hit and roll. Let's maybe I was gonna say a smidge wide, but it's curling up okay. Okay, so it's the weight is almost, it looks like pretty close, but it looks a little light. Okay, and so sweepers are going hard, and they got to the top of the 8 foot.
Well done, guys.
Does not appear to be enough to outcount the yellow, so there's still McDonald sitting the 1, but Howells has 1 in the house. And it looks like Andy McDonald wants to just get rid of that red. And if they successfully get rid of the red and keep the yellows around, it would basically, I think, force Howells to make a draw for 1. there's a potential worst case scenario, and that would be if the red jams on the yellow in the back, and then Howells could possibly have a draw for 2. But the way they're lined up, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Here we go with Andy McDonald's last shot here in the 6th end. Swoopers are going. So needs to make sure it hits on the right side, on the left side. Okay, it clips the red, gets out of play. The yellow, the shooter rolls out of play. And so now Howells could blank the end if he wanted to. It might not make a lot of sense at this point because teams want to control the hammer on the even ends, and he does right now. And also being down 3, he needs to at least get 1 here to be able to vie in the 7th and 8th ends, to compete in these later ends. So it looks like they are going to do a hit. I don't think, I think they want to stick. And we shall see. This is the last shot coming from team Garnet Howells here in the 6th. All right, swoopers are look to try and curl a little bit. Okay, so it's going to be a draw, and they have some backing with the yellow if they need it. Now there's no cover. Oh, it needs to sit down. Oh, it's really tight. That's really close.
Hi, guys.
Oh, I thought it was the last shot. I lost track. It's McDonald that has the hammer. So McDonald's going to throw the last shot. And here she goes. So if they have a chance for 2. Swoopers are hard. It needs to basically touch the 4-foot, but it also needs to get around that yellow guard. Oh, and it crashes on the yellow guard. So it's just a score of 1 for Team McDonald. It takes a 9-5 lead for Team McDonald heading into the 7th end. Just a friendly reminder that this broadcast is presented by authority of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. However, if you chose to reenact this game as an episode of the Howells public television program California's Gold, I would tip my hat to you. I would also say, that's amazing. Howells passed away a few years ago, but he was a longtime host of a public television series, California's Gold, and I think he would have liked a place like the Southern California Curling Center. It's definitely a very unique, quirky thing, and I think that's something that Hewell liked to scope out. So opening shot here in the 7th. It looks like it's going to slip into the top of the house. slide back. Actually, Howells put a broom on it and got it to go toward the 4 foot. Still touching the back of the button. So this is a new lead, it appears, for Team Howells. Okay, so I'm going to guess that the original vice skip has been able to join us. That would be Lisa Barris. Or Liza Barris, I apologize. That was a pretty low delivery. So it looks like Andy McDonald wants a guard down the center line. It looks like it's going to be a little heavy again and slip into the house. All right, and so Howells wants back line, I think, to maybe try and double those 2 yellows out. So the weight looks pretty good. Maybe a smidge light. It will tick the yellow to the back 12-foot area. So it looks like McDonald, I think, would maybe want to try and draw around that center guard and kind of put another rock in the top of the house near the center line. This is Ella Fleming. Okay, so it looks like there's a red. I think they're making a play on the red that's in the top left. Looks like it's over curling. Sweepers were off it and it misses. So for Howells, I think he wants Ahmet to draw it to the yellow, maybe a tap. I think he definitely wants to have the red shooter stick around, although it looks to be a little tight. He needs to get around that guard. It's going to tick on the guard. Sweepers are now taking the rock that got moved in motion, and it now provides something of a corner guard for the red that's in the house. So I think the same type of shot as before, but a different ice. So it's going to get around that corner guard and make contact on the red and roll towards the yellow that was in the center, and then actually removes their yellow that was in the center, but now yellow is sitting too. And I think Howells wants to just do another type of a draw tap. Definitely wants to make sure that the red is sitting shot and then the yellow is moved back about 3 to 4 feet. So this shot looks like pretty close to mission accomplished. It's going to freeze it on top of the shot stone yellow. So yellow is still shot, it appears, but red is definitely in the mix. So just as a recap on the other sheets, sheet 6, Mendoza scored a single. And it appears that the other team scored a single as well. So now we're all square at 5 after 6 ends. Back on our feature sheets, it looks like McDonald is going to draw in. I think maybe put one right on top of the red that's in the house. So just to recap the score, it is all square again. Team Mendoza of wine country. So Howells has throwing some weight at the rock to kind of move some stones around and freeze the yellow that was in the back of the button. Next truck coming from Brian Feldman Jr. I think they want to draw in, maybe tap the red out of the way. The weight looks pretty good. It's actually probably gonna, there's their yellow. It pushes their yellow back, and so it looks like red is definitely shot, and there's a bit of a pocket for Howells to take advantage of. So this shot coming for Team Howells, taking advantage of the backing to hit the yellow out of play, and now they're sitting 2, but those reds are side by side. So it appears that McDonald would want to try and execute a double. They are looking it over. I think just kind of making sure which rotation of the stone they want. So they are lining up for a double. Team McDonald, skipped by Andy McDonald. you go. Swoopers are out early. Looks like it's pretty close. So it gets one of the reds out and rolls towards the center, but does not make contact on the other red as far as I can tell. Right now it's a tricky situation for Howells to capitalize on the situation. So I think it looks like the way it's lined up is that Howells wants to hit the yellow. Oh, sorry, he wants to hit. Yeah, no. So he wants to hit the yellow. So he wants to hit the yellow on the left side on this view, and kind of angle the yellow out and be sitting 2.
Because I thought this way would get it better. And I was sure.
And this is the first shot for Team Howells, Garnet Howells. Swoopers are on it, and it looks like it needs to. The weight's a little light, so it might be going to freeze on top of their red, and so McDonald is going to probably try a similar type of shot that she just threw, and kind of run their yellow onto the red. And then it looks like they would be sitting 2. This is kind of a tricky strategic situation. Because depending on what's left, Howell could capitalize and maybe get 2 out of this.
Yeah, they're sitting 1.
And this is the last shot for Andy McDonald. Swoopers are going. Looks like a little light. Naturally, is going to curl in front of the reds. So stick around. And so now McDonald faces a bit of a tough shot, because they're sitting 1, and the question is, how might they be able to get 2 or maybe 3 out of this? Although it looks like they're maybe looking at a situation to get 2. The tricky situation, looking at the angles is going to be key with this shot, and unfortunately we don't have an overhead view that we can offer you. But they might be looking to, they're kind of looking at the right side, or the left side from this view, the right side from this overhead view, hit the top yellow on the right side, and move the red hopefully towards the yellow, and move that center yellow out of the way and get 2. But again, that's kind of the angle question. definitely think about it. I think they've kind of resolved to not try that shot on the right side. Maybe small. Okay, maybe looks like they may have gone to the shot on the right side. The other possibility is to like maybe do like a slight maybe angle on the center yellow, and then maybe kind of wedge the yellow out by hitting off of the reds. But that could be a very dangerous shot. But they have the broom down. Looks like they're going to try and do that angle takeoff, I guess you would call it. This is Garnett Howells with his last shot here in the 7th inning. Sweepers are not sweeping, just kind of walking with it. That's a little wide. Made contact. Ooh! Mission accomplished. Got some kinetic action going, and just basically kind of chipped out that yellow to. So Howells with 2 makes it into a 9-7 game, headed into the final end. Looking at the clocks, both teams do have plenty of time to finish the game. At the time, technically, you forfeit. Some other associations do differently. That's, I think, the USA Curling rule and the World Curling Federation rule.
So we want everything in play now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like we need to like try not doing a take out just to freeze.
Yeah. Freezes is sick.
They'll try.
They'll do
Hold on.
Yeah,
They might even take out their own ice.
this is where we make it complicated. We have to start with, we're trying to get the point that we can, but we'll
Looking at the other sheets, they are in the 8th, and team to put 2, so it is now on sheets. Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. It is 7-5 Mendoza over Stefani on sheet 6. That is also going into the 8th and final end. On this sheet, we're about to get underway. If you or your business would like to become a sponsor for MoPac, our competitions, or our live streaming service, visit mopacca.org and click on the contact link on the right-hand side of the page. So it looks like Howells put up a rock into the house, and Team McDonald wants to get rid of it. And then Ozzy Altus was a little wide. So this is a situation where Howells needs to find a way to steal 2 to stay in this. Looks like it's probably gonna hit the red that's already in the house. So it moves that red in the house back a little bit. That red, McDonald comes to look at it. It might be a guard, and the guard zone rule would be in effect still. So it looks like McDonald wants to try the takeout again. Honestly, gets so low on the ice. Looks like it might be a little wide again. It's going to make contact with the red and hit the red, which is good. And then the shooter yellow sticks around. So this is Ahmed with his first, I believe. So it's gonna tap the red in. So it's another situation where Andy McDonald wants to take out the red that's in the house, which is it's keeping a clean house, which is a good strategy to just keep the scoring area, to keep the house clean, and make it harder for Howells to try and steal. So makes contact on the red, and then the yellow sticks around. And so now Howells is looking at that yellow that's in the house, and I think just wants to draw to it. Oh, I think that's now a takeout. Maybe a tap back. Swoopers are on it. So it's not going to be a hit. I think they were hoping to maybe freeze. It over-curled a little bit, and I think it's going to be pretty open right next to the yellow. So again, Andy McDonald wants her second, Ella Fleming, to do a takeout. Looks like the weight's pretty good. It's gonna hit on the left side of the red and kick the red out. So now there's a pocket for a possible double, but remember, Howells needs rocks in play to try and manufacture a steal at 2. So I think he wants to try the same type of shots that they tried the first time. Brooms down, and here comes the shot. So I mentioned on the broadcast I was going to try and find out what was going on with the Howells team order. I have to say right now that I was unable to do so. So hopefully I can get some more information, and by the time we see them again this afternoon, I will know more of what's going on. But it looks like the draw was successful. It tapped the yellow back slightly. So yellow is sitting 1. And it looks like, I think they just want to get rid of the red. This is Brian Feldman Jr.'s first. Oh, what a good shot. So it gets rid of the red. The shooter rolls to the right, and the one of the yellows that was on the left side did roll towards the barrier. But it definitely it has 3 yellow rocks spread all through the house. And again, Howells is trying to find a way to manufacture a steal of 2. So it looks like they want to try and do a guard. This one looks maybe a little heavier. They might look to try and do maybe a hit and roll now. And so they did hit, and they rolled towards the center, but it is pretty exposed. So I would think that Andy McDowell wants Brian Feldman Jr. to just hit that out. Just a quick reminder, we have 2 more games on tap. Coming up at 2:30, we're going to see Team Howells again take on Team Stefani from... And then at 7:30, we are looking for now to have on our feature sheet Team Stefani from Wine Country take on Team Maxi. And Team Maxi is a team from several clubs. So this shot it crashed on the guard and rolled out of play. The guard rolled to the right and hit the yellow out of play, it looks to be, as McDonald takes it out. So now Howells has something cooking, perhaps. They are sitting 1 and 3, while Team McDonald is sitting 2 and maybe 4. Looks to be 4. So it's an interesting scenario here in the last bit of the end. McDonald does have the hammer, but Howells is kind of thinking about the situation. They brought the whole team over to think about it. The shot they dialed up, it looks like maybe they want to maybe kind of freeze one on the red, or maybe draw over to the yellow on the right from this view. Moving the broom over, so I think they are going to go towards the yellow. But this is potentially the last shot for Howells, because I think we're going to play it out. there's a chance that McDonald could run Howells out of stones, but I don't think it's going to happen now. His shot's underway. Well, thanks to the chat, I do have understanding of the situation. I thought they were playing with 3, but they've been playing with 4. So I thought there was like a typo on the bio, but Leslie Chi is the lead, and Lexus Chi has moved up into vice because the previous third, Liza, was out with the COVID situation. So that result that kind of hopefully provides a better picture. We have two sisters playing first and third, and then Ahmet and Garnett are second and fourth. So I apologize for any confusion. Hopefully that clears it up, and I really do appreciate the clarification from the chat. It was really confusing me. So Howells' first shot, I think, was a little short. So now Andy McDonald can hit that red shot rock and be sitting 2. Although they might want to use softer weight to stick around to make it harder for Howells to maybe try and double out the yellows. We shall see. So not going to stick around. It does hit the red out of play. So now Howells is sitting 2 and 3. So they need to be sitting. They need to be sitting at least shot after this. Well, they need to be sitting 2, or else the game is over. So Howells is thinking it over, as the front end does what good front ends do, and gets the stone ready. I think the situation is where to be in the best place to be sure that they're sitting 2 and to make it a hard shot for McDonald to either hit them out or to score. And I think what they're looking at is probably the best bet. I think they want to do a hit and just a slight roll. So they want to hit this view just to the right of the center, the yellow stone just to the right of the center, so that it's going to, from this view, so that it's going to be right behind that the red cover at the top of the house. And that way they'd be sitting 3, and so then it'd be like McDonald would still have to make a shot. It would not necessarily be a high difficulty shot, but it would still be a shot they would have to make. So they do have the broom down. I think they're going to do that gentle hit and roll, and this is to stay alive here in the 8th end. Garnett Howells with his last. Okay, gonna reset. Sweepers are going. Looks like it's going to be pretty close. Oh, we lost a sweeper. But he recovered. Okay, so this is going to be super, super close. Team McDonald calls a timeout. Especially as they kind of look over the situation. Basically, like if McDonald is sitting, if So if Howells is sitting 2, then the game continues. If Howells is sitting just the 1, then it's game over, because Howells would not be able to score 2 to tie the game. So the coach for Team McDonald is coming down on the ice. There was a slight miscommunication, but he's now coming on the field, and that is national competitor, para athlete, Patrick McDonald.
Yeah, it's wide open.
As they looked it over. Let's see if we can hear what they're talking about.
You're sitting second count, right?
Get rid of the one.
Okay. Just tuned it in a little too late. So they do have a shot down.
They're 1-2.
I think they just basically want to get rid of one of the Reds to ensure that they are going to secure the win. So this is Andy McDonald for the win. FTW, as the kids say. Kids don't say that. All right, Skip McDonald settles into the hack, and her shot is away. Swoopers are walking it down. Howells comes over to get a better look. Feldman's sweeping on it. Now he's off. Gets rid of the red. And so it does get rid of the red. And so I'm not quite sure who scored, but regardless, it is not enough for Howells to secure the comeback. And it is fist bumps all around as Team McDonald gets into the win column. They're 1-1 in this tournament. Team Howells in his first game slips to 0-1. It appears they're done. And finished without concluding the 8 ends. And so Team Mendoza appears to have won that game. So we are wrapping things up here. The first draw of, the second draw of the first game of the day, as part of a Friday trip at Southern California Curling Center. We are going to be back at 2:30. I want to double check to be sure. Yes. 2:30. Our game then is going to be Team Stefani from Wine Country taking on Team Howells, as both teams look for their first win of the tournament. But on our sheets, it is Team McDonald in the winners column for this game. Thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully you'll check us out for the remaining games here at the 2022 MoPac Mixed Team Playdowns. So for all of us here at the Southern California Curling Center, this is Ryan Olson saying so long and good curling.